What up, people? What's going on? Having what I call technical issues today. Just a few things trying to figure out. But let's see here. What is this? Nope. Anyways, all good. We're gonna get this done quick. And this is actually one of my favorite topics that we're gonna be talking about today, simply because it talks about money. And funny, I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine about how uncomfortable adults get when they talk about money. So it's true, and my goal is to just help people get comfortable with the uncomfortable stuff. Not a guru, not an expert in any of this stuff, but um, mainly just speaking from experience because I've had my moments where I'm not comfortable. Like last week, we talked about vulnerability, and the goal is to just get people to open up, to face their fears, and figure out how to get around them. So, been a while. Anyway, we're gonna get started. So, we're gonna get started. Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. So, hi, and welcome to the 22nd episode of Cimifly Live, the Entrepreneur's Journey. I am your host, Cecil Williams. So, today's message is brought to you by Cimifly Money, a platform built to empower communities with financial literacy and wealth building mindset. So, check us out on cimiflymoney.medium.com. Cimiflymoney.medium.com. And the topic we're actually going to be talking about today is how to secure your financial future. And I actually wrote an article about this. What's up, Tony? What's going on? I actually wrote an article about this, so you can go ahead and check it out when you get a chance on cmiflymoney.medium.com. And or you can check the link in my profile on my Instagram, and it'll go to my Cimifly Money blog, and you can check that stuff out. But interesting topic. So we're going to talk about how to secure your financial future. And I want everybody to know when we talk about this and when I talk about money, this is not talking about how you're going to get rich quick. These are not get rich quick schemes. These are just things that you need to put in place to create wealth. And wealth is a long game. If you want to be rich, that's fine. We all want to be rich. Rich is money we have today, money we can spend, but wealth is a long-term game. And in order for you to create that, you have to have some fundamentals in place. So we're going to talk about that today. So how I normally like to do it is we talk about, I kind of present 2 to 3 quotes. We talk about those quotes, and then we talk about basic topics. But today we're going to divide our topics into 4. We're going to talk about earned income. We're going to talk about debt. We're going to talk about savings, and we're going to talk about investing. So hopefully you can get something from it, learn something from it, share with people, share with anyone, share with your friends, and hopefully people can learn from this stuff and find this thing interesting and teach me, help me help you, pretty much. So first, it says too many people spend money they earn to buy things they don't want to impress people they don't like. Will Rogers. And this is the most important thing. I think in America, specifically in America, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist in other worlds, we live in a world where consumerism rules. If you go and read my article, it talks about uh, basically how, I mean, even in my promo video, how America in 4 years, from 2018 to 2022, we've moved from $4 trillion in debt to 16 trillion. I mean, think about that increase in just 4 years. Basically, we have just been swiping, spending. This is consumer debt. This is credit card debt, car loans, and all these kinds of things. And we have $807 million in credit card debt alone in 2021. This is scary, people. But the goal is not to scare people. These are just the facts. This is information that's out there. And I know people throw around these facts and things like that, but it kind of seems like these big numbers, but this is real. We live in a world where consumerism is everything. And as a result of that, when people make money, there are a lot of people in my circles, a lot of people that I know that make good money. We show it off. I mean, in the nice cars, the nice houses, and there's nothing wrong with those things if you've worked hard for it and you feel like you deserve it. All I'm saying is, I think we need to be a little bit more responsible with our finances. We need to be able to account for it. We need to be able to manage it properly. We need to budget. We need to make sure we're in a position where we're not drowning in debt simply because we want to keep up with the Joneses. That's all I'm saying. You can spend your money however you want, but try not to keep up with the Joneses. It just doesn't help anyone. And as adults, we don't want to be told these things. I mean, even with our friends, it's uncomfortable conversations to have people that you're very close with to say, yo, you gotta chill out with this and that. So I make these videos that these messages will get through to people in their quiet time because I know for a fact, as a child, well, even as a teenager, one of the things I always used to say was, I'd rather my dad give me a beating than give me a lecture because maybe a beating, it hurts, it lasts for what, 5 minutes, you're in pain, you cry, you move on. But that lecture, those lectures can go on for hours and he will talk on and on and on and on. But those lectures in my adult life helped a lot. So think about it. That's why I kind of put this information out there because most people might not want to hear it in a personal setting because it's a touchy subject. So, but if you put it out there, you get to listen to it, you get to share it with your friends. Hopefully, it helps. Second one it says is money is a tool. It will take you wherever you wish, but you will not replace it as the driver. On Rand, money is a tool. I think people need to understand that money is not the end all be all. I don't do this. I mean, I've had some times when I was earlier in my journey with this thing where people thought I had friends who said to me, I like money too much. Everything about that I talk about is money. And I'm like, fine. I mean, it is what it is. Doesn't shake me. It doesn't matter to me. But I want people to understand that money is a tool. It's not. In my article, I say money makes the world go round. In everything we do, everything we trade for, everything, all the food we buy, this phone, I mean, all the equipment around here, I had to leverage the money I had to get to where I need to get to be able to put myself out there. So understand that it is a tool to get to where you need to get to. Now there's leverage. There's different levels of that leverage or using it as a tool. Some people want to use it to buy a yacht because that's what they want. Some people just need it for their daily needs. So think of that as a tool and it will get you wherever you wish, but it will not replace you as the driver. When it says it will not replace you as the driver, it means ultimately you are in the driver's seat. Whatever you choose to do with money is what you're going to become. Whatever you choose, however you choose, how hard you choose to work for it, how fast you choose to spend it, you are in the driving seat. So don't let it ruin your life or don't let it run you. Because there's the saying that money is the greatest evil, money is the devil. And it might be if you do not utilize it where you are in the driver's seat. If you become the passenger when you get it, yes, it will ruin your life. So remember, you are the driver. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest, Benjamin Franklin. Now, this is something that I keep repeating on every single one of my lives. Get knowledge, get educated on the things that you need to do. With money comes great responsibility. With power comes great responsibility. With anything, I'm not talking power in like magnitude, political power, just anything. I mean, promotions at work or anything like that, you need to invest in your knowledge. So as we talk about money, adults, because this is an adult conversation, please, please, please get the necessary knowledge that you need to have to be able to handle your finances. And if you're not willing to seek the knowledge, then you're gonna have to pay for it. Someone's going to charge you for it. And if you know you have the resources to do it, then pay for it. I mean, most of us go and get financial advisors. It's funny, a few years ago, I was trying to figure out some stuff. I had to take a massive pay cut when my son was being born because I used to travel for work a lot. And it kind of shocked me, I wouldn't even lie, because I mean, having to take a job where you're probably taking about a 40-50% pay cut because you had to do the necessary thing. And now I'm having to figure out my finances. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to go hire a financial advisor to help me figure this stuff out. And I went to one of those Dave Ramsey's certified advisors and stuff like that. Walked in the office. We spent all these hours. They asked all these questions, went through the methods. And I walked home feeling like these people are not telling me anything that I don't know. I mean, because I'm someone who dives in deep into the information, read, consume a lot of information about personal finance, because I spent a lot of time, maybe since 2013, trying to figure some of this stuff out myself. So I'm like, they're not telling me anything I don't know. They're trying to get me to sign up for their life insurance products. And it's not that I don't need these things. I mean, I figured out where to find them, but they want me. I mean, that's how they make their money. Essentially, it doesn't matter that they have this free 1 hour consultation with you. They want you to sign up immediately for their life insurance. They want you to sign up for their financial products. And I'm like, I'll pass because I have to spend money. For me, because I maybe spend a lot of time, so I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about this stuff. But for the average person, yes, you might need that. So I'm never really telling people what to do. I'm not saying don't do this, don't do that. If that is what you need, then that's what you need to get started. Get to consult a financial advisor. But just always make sure you are you you're crossing the I's, crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and just essentially make sure nobody's just like taking you for a journey where you're gonna get scammed, or over time you're gonna be like, oh my god, I wasted all this money and doing this stuff, and it ended up not being what I needed to be. So now, as we get into this, the first thing I'm going to say is earned income. Like I said, this might be one of those longer lives, maybe, because I think there's a lot of information that I talk about here. But like I said, go and read the article. I wish I could post it. I actually have it, but I feel like if I go out of my live, then I might not be able to come back in and have this whole thing. So Cimifly, it's like my name on IG, Cimifly money.medium, like the reading tool, Medium, the app.com. Check it out. It's my third article. It's titled How to Secure Your Financial Future. So first, I didn't really put this in there because I told a story about debt, savings, and investment. But the other element and piece that I want to add to it is earned income, because as adults, we all have to figure out how we make money. So the first way most of us will know how to make money is we go to college, we get a job. Your 9 to 5 is your first way, your hustle, your first hustle, whatever. I mean, not necessarily saying your traditional 9 to 5, but your job, whatever you have. Hold on to that, figure that out, learn how to discipline yourself. I mean, first, you got to show up every day. That's discipline that you develop through education, whatever the case might be. Hold your 9 to 5. Second, we all have skills, whether it's learning through your job, whether it's, I mean, as simple things as hair braiding. I mean, for whoever, ladies, even gentlemen, or anything, you're a mechanic, you know how to fix cars, you know how to make a certain kind of drink, so you could be a bartender on the weekends. Any kind of skill you have, leverage it. And I always tell people, if you cannot figure a specific skill like coding, anything more on the technical side that you don't have, because I think when people say skills, we start thinking of the more complex things. But if you have a car and it's good enough, you can drive Uber. You can, if you don't want to interact with people, you can do Uber Eats, you can do DoorDash, you can do any of these things. You have a skill. Driving is a skill. So don't see it as, oh, well, it's just driving. And it is a way for you to make money. If you can dog walk because you like dogs, go ahead and do that. Any other skill you have outside of your 9 to 5, you get off work, you still have between the hours of 5 and 10, that's another 5 hours. And I'm not one who subscribes to the team no sleep. You need your rest, you need your time. But we live in a consumer-centric world where we're being forced to live outside of our comfort zone, where our 9 to 5s just don't cut it anymore for most people. This is the reality. I'm not forcing people to say, oh, you have to go hustle. This is just our reality, where we live in a world where what people normally bring in through their 9 to 5s alone is just not enough to cover their bills, to do all these things. So we have to find an extra way to do things. So you have your earned income, your 9 to 5. If you're an entrepreneur, you have your entrepreneur, you have your different streams of income. Make sure you perfect one, then go wide. So go deep, then go wide. Your 9 to 5, and then find other things that you can do. So when, like I told you, when I took a pay cut and I had to work, I had to stay stable because my son was being born and my wife was finishing residency, working nights. I took a job and I said to myself, I'm going to go drive Uber. This is considering I was already driving in 2.5 hours to and from work every day, I didn't really want to do anything else that I would think too much, but it's driving. I would drive people around town. Beautiful city of Sarasota, got to figure out the town, met a lot of interesting people. And while I was doing that, I was probably making $400 a week. I mean, I had a goal. Like I do 3 to 4 days, so anywhere between $300 to $400. Now on a monthly basis, getting anywhere between $900 to $1,200 every month. I put in the work. Yes. Most people say, "Oh, I don't want to drive." Whatever. That's on you. Fine. But I had to do what I had to do, and I made an extra $900, $1,200, and it's probably it's interesting because doing that was a very exhilarating journey for me because I always tell my wife, I said, why? Well, first, I enjoyed meeting a lot of different people, but I think it was one of the most tangible ways that you get to see you actually make money because you're driving, you're dropping off someone, and you pick them, you take them on, let's say a 5 minute journey. Well, Uber pays you $6, $7, and literally the moment they get out of your car, the app does this ching thing, and you see money. I mean, and every night you can cash out that money by whatever. I think next day you can do it instant where it goes into your bank account. You're saying, hey, I'm making money. I'm not having to wait for my 2 weeks to put in my work and then get a paycheck and that type of stuff. So all I'm trying to say is telling you guys all this is a mindset thing. Get your mind right and do what is necessary to take action. That's all that it is. Simple. Next, we go into debt. This is where a lot of people are crippled in America. I think maybe a couple years ago, the average American had $5,000 in consumer debt, credit card debt, whatever. Now it's about $9,000. It's increased. Like I said earlier, $807 million in credit card debt in 2021 alone for Americans. That's a lot. That's almost $1 billion in credit card debt. People, let's get it together. I have debt, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, this year alone, my wife and I have been trying to get out of debt, and we're almost out of like specific credit card debt. Like, I mean, some student loans and things we can't get out of that, but ultimately, basically, what I'm saying is, I'll tell you a story. In 2013, I was swimming in what I consider debt because for everyone it's relative. I mean that's when I started going down this journey to learning about personal finance, trying to figure out things. So I had about $30,000 in debt. I don't have student loans, but so for me that was like terrifying. And I'm just like, yo, how did I get there? I had 9 loans, 6 of them were credit cards, store credit cards, express, this, that. Next thing you know, all these suckers were maxed out. And I'm just like, yo, how did I get there? I was told not to get a credit card. But here I am, $25,000, $30,000 in debt. I said, I got to get this thing together. Built a spreadsheet, put all my expenses, all my bills, all my utility bills, the things I couldn't avoid, rent, and I put all my credit cards, stack them up next to each other, and every month I'll just report how much I paid. And as I paid them off, so I use the snowball effect. The snowball effect is literally you can either take the one with the highest payment or the highest interest. And well, in my case, it was the highest payment. So I put the highest payment, or the highest balance. So if let's say I had 3 credit cards and I had an American Express at 5,000, I had a Chase at 3,000, and I had the Capital One at 1,000. I said I'm going to pay the $5,000 first, or you can do it where the interest. If the American Express has the highest interest, you want to get rid of it because you want to get rid of the high interest credit card. And I just recorded every single month. If I had extra money that month, I would put it. So I would tackle that first one. I'll just keep throwing money at it. And as it goes, the snowball, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger until you get rid of the debt. So I would just pay these things out. And when I paid them off, I changed that entire line item to green. So imagine you going from everything being red for the credit cards, because technically you're in debt, and utilities were black. So this is just my system. And essentially you then say, okay, as it starts going to, well, it had to go from red to green. There was no black because when I paid it off, I made it green. When I paid it off, I made it green. So it felt good to see 6 credit cards over 18 months go from red to green. I paid it off. I paid all my credit cards off. And I remember one day waking up and I was credit card debt free for one day. I mean, maybe a little longer than that, but get it. Like you wake up and you have no debt. Like I had 0 debt. I don't have student loans. I don't have a car note because I paid off my car note. I had 0 debt in America. I'm just like, man, I'm an adult with no debt. This felt good. I felt like I accomplished something. But what I want to leave with you is understanding that I built good habits. I built a habit of documentation. I built a habit of paying off things like being responsible enough. I built a habit of of accountability, and I was able to do it. So if I can do it, anyone can do it. I mean, so most people say they can't because they don't want to document things. It's not going to be comfortable. Nothing worth doing will be comfortable. You need to understand that this entire thing is about a mindset. It has nothing to do. Well, it has everything to do with you taking action. But if the mind is not right, you cannot take action. So figured all that stuff out, was able to get out of debt and paid off in 18 months. And I've been able to always get out of it in a very fast period of time, like 12 months, and saying, okay, I'm not going to sit here and wait for the 30 years or 20 years or whatever. Cars and everything, I do that with them. So one, I was able to build a discipline. I educated myself about the pitfalls of accruing debt. I read about the dangers of it, and I talked to people about it who understood. So for all of you out there who want to figure this out, if you haven't gotten into credit cards yet, I mean, you're not good. I wouldn't say don't. Just avoid high interest credit cards and only use what you can pay for on a monthly basis. Simple. If you have, let's say, $1,000 in expenses every month that you could put on a credit card, whether it's groceries, gas, some of the utility bills that allow you to use a credit card to pay for it, use it, budget. And I'm not saying always write this stuff down, but be mindful. I log into my bank account every single day because I want to know what's in there. I mean, it's an obsession, but I do. It helps me. You can figure out what works for you. But when you pay off every month, it reports to the credit reporting agencies. Your credit score is going to go up because this accounts for, I think, I'm not really sure. I don't know what the number is, but I will check on that. It accounts for a certain percentage of your credit history, paying one time. And if you get a credit card with points, you're getting points. So you're paying things that you're going to be using every month anyway. And in the future, you're able to redeem this for some of those nice things that you want. Airfares, gifts, and whatever it is that you need. So remember that. Stay away from high interest credit cards. I know sometimes we're desperate, but just try your best to stay away from them and only use what you can afford on credit cards. If you notice you're starting to use an excess, stop using them. Just stop. Use your cash because people say never use credit. Hey, if it works for you, fine. But I'm just saying this is from my experience. Every time I notice I start looking at my credit cards and I'm like, oh, this is a little too much, I stop using it. I go back to my cash, which I know is there. It's my debit, and I use my cash. I try to put that try to pay things off, and once I bring it back down to zero or manageable amount, then I could say, okay, let's go back into using it. You have to be flexible. I mean, part of it is if you can be very disciplined, but I found that as human beings, we cannot be very disciplined in every single thing that we do. So I say, let's come up with things that are more realistic that you can accomplish. So yeah, next is savings. Now, there's a lot of people who are in the investing world that don't want to hear people talk about savings. Oh, what are you saving for? You're saving against inflation. You're this. So these people are going to encourage you to just put your money in investments. But how can you invest if you haven't developed the habit of saving? You tell me. These are habits. You find first, you learn how to eliminate your debt. While you're eliminating your debt, you pick up good habits because you have to save. I mean, part of you having to pay off debt means you have to make sacrifices, you save. All that stuff, these are habits. You're building these habits and you're putting them in play and you're taking action. Same way. Once you figure out you got out of debt or you've minimized your debt, maybe you're not completely debt-free, but it's manageable, you consolidated, you paid it off, whichever works for you, then you can start figuring out, okay, how do I take the money that I used to pay on these credit cards and how can I save them? So a quick story. In 2009, I was able to hold on to my job till 2009, believe it or not. When the recession started in 2007, I think November 2007, all of 2008, I was able to finesse and keep a job till 2009, but I lost my job. When I did, I had some savings. Thank God for that. Was able to get unemployment, but all that was running out. And my savings basically sufficed for all the other things, the measly unemployment check I was getting. I'm grateful for it, but it wasn't enough to pay all my bills. So I used up all my savings, or I was down to like my last $1,000 in my savings, and I kept applying for jobs. But every job I've ever gotten is because I reached out to people. It's not because I got them from Indeed and all these job boards. People get jobs from them. That's why they exist. I have just never gotten a job from a job board. reached out to people. Yo, I'm looking for a job. Drop your pride, people. Drop your pride. Yo, I'm looking for a job. They said, okay, cool. I got a job. I got a fabulous job after that. I got a job where I was traveling, doing some consulting work, doing something I actually enjoyed to do, made um, decent money. And when I got my job back, I said, okay, I formed some habits in the past with saving and doing these things. So my goal was to build an emergency savings fund. Most people will say, like I said, invest all your money. But when things happen, you need an emergency fund just in case. One of the ways you can do that in your bank account, when you make money, when you get paid, doesn't matter how, 9 to 5, whatever, take a percentage, 20%, 10%. So I always say it's easy. Let's break it down. You get $100, take $20, put it in that, set it up for a recurrence. So every time you get that money, so if it's like a job where you get paid every 2 weeks, you're getting paid $1,000, put $200 in that emergency savings every 2 weeks and let your bank account just do it. So set it up where it's automatic every 2 weeks. And if you don't get like a fixed paycheck, then just make sure you remind yourself that you have to put a percentage into that savings account every 2 weeks. What I've done that helps for me is I put it in an online savings account and I put it in an account that I don't have a debit card access to. And if I have it, I don't walk around with that debit card because I don't want to have to use it. And if I need access to that money, I have to transfer it back into my checking account. That's just sometimes a little too much work because it's like it takes time. Like I actually use an account that doesn't even have Zelle. Believe it or not, there's savings account out there that don't. There are banks that don't use Zelle because Zelle is a system of banks that I think works with Wells Fargo, Chase, and I think there's about 4 or 5 banks that specifically are in the network of Zelle. So I do things that make it almost impossible for me to remove this money from my emergency fund unless it is an emergency. Now, when an emergency comes, one of those emergencies is losing your job. An emergency could be your car, death, anything. At least you have some money. Now, what most people will say, make sure you have 6 months worth of a paycheck to go of your living expenses. Let me not even say paycheck, of your living expenses to have this stuff down. If you can, I'd advise have the 6 months. If you can't, at least have 3 months. Have something, because if you have 6 months, you have a cushion. If you have 1 year, even better. If you have 3 months, you don't have to be looking for a job the day they fire you or the day you lose your job. So now imagine if you have other problems and other things you have to worry about. You're constantly there, now worrying again about this, but at least you have a cushion. Make sure you have that. Build an emergency fund. You're not always going to have good fortune in life, so make sure you're prepared for turbulent times. Practicing discipline and prudence whenever you can is relevant and really, really important. So please, people, think about these things. I can't make you do them. I can only put the information out there and hope that you go seek the knowledge. I think that's the most important thing I keep telling people. Seek the knowledge to make sure you are prepared and in a position to handle these things. The last one is investments. Now, once you have developed these habits, because everything is about reflex habits, the habit of paying off debt, the habit of saving, the habit of setting up systems that are going to propel you to success, then you can invest. I mean, I was listening to one of the guys from Market Mondays, the master investor, Ian Dunlap, and he said, or maybe the Wall Street Tracker, I'm not really sure which one, but one of them I listen to them a lot. If you look at Robinhood, the stock literally fell drastically over in the last few months, and it's not doing so well because during the pandemic, they got all these people to get all this free money they were getting, or money they were sitting at home, and put it in the market. Millions of people, I can't even remember what that number was, were putting money in, just investing. A lot of people, first of all, lost that money. So therefore, when they lost all of it, they looked at it like, well, free money gone, lost it, whatever, I'm not doing this again. They didn't take the time to educate themselves about what they were doing. Everybody was just meme stocking things, putting money in things that they didn't understand, just doing whatever they needed to do. And then it got real. We're in a recession, supply chain hiccups, everything. We're in a position where this money's not flowing anymore. Guess what? They just stopped investing. Some of them close their Robinhood accounts because they don't even want to see it anymore. Some people basically just stop, and the money's not flowing in for Robinhood anymore, and essentially, everything comes crumbling down. The stock plummets, and the value of the stock depreciates. So that's the first thing. So that I say this to say because investment is a game where most people might say life is not a game, but if you see it like a game, then you understand you're going to win or lose. And it's important for you to sometimes see it that way. Not every single time, but if you see it that way, then you understand the stakes are high and you have to do what it takes to win. So, what's up, Carl? So, I'll tell you a story. And this is a harsh lesson I learned about investing. Maybe around the same time, 2013 or whatever, maybe 11, earlier. I don't really remember the exact dates, but because I don't want to remember it anymore. A few friends and I lost over $150,000 in what I call a real estate Ponzi scheme. Myself alone, personally, I remember it, $48,000. Boom, gone just like that. So hard-earned money that you work for, and you think, okay, I've made some headways. I'm able to have this kind of money saved up to that I can give it to somebody else. You don't do a lot of research on what you are thinking. Oh, my connection is a little bad. Okay, my internet keeps telling me it's bad, but anyway, hopefully it doesn't go too bad. But we lost all that money, and there's a long story to it, so maybe I'll do an entire episode about that someday, where basically you talk about exactly what happened. But we made a bad mistake, and it turned into a Ponzi scheme. We got the lawyers involved. I think even the FBI got involved at a higher level, finding out that this guy had been doing this for quite some time. So if you know what a Ponzi scheme is, you take from one person, you give to the other, instead of taking this money, putting in investment, let the money make money, and then you give it back to the person. Now, I'm taking from Peter to pay Paul. And at some point, Peter's not going to be able to give you for you to pay Paul, and things crumble. So that was bad. There's no lesson to be learned. I mean, well, there is there is a lesson to be learned from that. But the lesson was, do your due diligence, educate yourself about money, educate yourself. Like, let's stop making this thing a taboo topic where we don't want to ask our siblings, our friends. Let's have conversations. So recently, a few friends and I went on a vacation. Well, actually, the last few times we went on a vacation to Vegas and just out of the country. When we do this as boys, we get together. We will sit down for an entire day, literally, one, educating ourselves about money. I mean, sometimes it ends up in an argument, or in a competitive sport where we're like, this is what I know, this is what I know, this is what you need to do. But at least we're talking about it, because everybody does things differently. Even if I don't listen to you or agree with you then, but you're going to say something to me that benefits me, that's what's forced me to learn how to trade options. Because it's funny, 2 years ago when I turned, I don't remember what birthday it was, but we went to Vegas and we had my boy Abu whip out the laptop and gave us a whole, Gave us a whole thing on options. Like, we sat there for 40 minutes learning about options trading, and that sparked something in me. I'm like, yo, I've been talking about this forever. I really need to get down and learn this stuff. So yeah, but essentially gain the necessary knowledge to do what you need to do. Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Normally, I do this for 25 minutes. I've been doing this for about 33 minutes. I'm still kind of within track. So bottom line is, like I said, there's 4 buckets that I like to focus on. Earned income. Utilize your 9 to 5. Learn a skill. We live in a world where it's a consumer-centered world. We cannot stay afloat anymore by just having one thing going for us, because it's like on rocky ground unless you make a lot of money. As much as I say dig deep, you kind of have to take things seriously and dig deep, and then you can go wide. But take your 9 to 5, any skill, drive Uber. You like dogs, go walk people's dogs. Like, there's what do you call these apps? I mean, you know how to fix TVs. You're good with electrical stuff. Anything, you can put yourself out there today. You know how to edit articles. Like, become an editor. You are good with writing. Become a copywriter. There is so many ways to make extra money, people. Don't sleep on it. I tell my friends now, more than any time in the world that we've lived, is the easiest way people can make a buck. So there's absolutely no excuses. I'm not even going to take that as an excuse. Take action. Next, debt. Get together. Sign up for the Credit Karma. Figure out what your credit score. You talk to someone. Talk to someone who knows a little bit more about you. Hit me up. I can help you. We can talk. Go to a financial advisor. Talk to someone in your family. There's someone who you know in your life, especially today with the internet. You will find a lot of information of people giving free game about how to fix your debt and how to get it together, how to improve your credit score, how to make sure, because you have a good credit score, you get a lot of what you need. But if you form those good habits, you're never going to go back down, so you mess up. Savings. Once you've learned and developed habits of how to get rid of debt, whether it's through consolidation, whatever you did, you figured it out, those habits have to continue. That money you're not paying anymore to the credit cards, put that money in the savings account. Save that money, have your emergency fund, but also maybe before you learn how to invest, while you're educating yourself on investments, you're saving. So if you save up to $5,000, don't just put $200 and think you're going to turn $200 into $200,000. It's not happening. There are people who could turn maybe $1,000 into 10,000 over a period of time, but they had to be skilled at what they do. If you're not skilled, forget it. It's not happening. But if you figure it out, please let me know. I'd like to know. So maybe, hey, we can talk. But just learn how to save, because if you cannot save, if you don't save, you can't invest. Once you figure out those habits, then you are educating yourself. Make sure you make good investments. Vet your investments, do your due diligence, educate yourself, invest in yourself, invest in yourself. I cannot say this enough in every podcast, in every episode of this live that I do. Invest in yourself. Make sure, right now, I'm learning. I've been learning how to trade options in February of this year. It's been rough. I'm not going to lie to you, because it's a game of averages. I'm not going to take 10 trades and win every trade. But I'm learning to eliminate my emotions. I'm learning to understand the technicals. I'm learning to be a very skilled trader. So this is a skill that I could take on with me for a very long time. And I'm not playing about this stuff. I get serious about it. I spend time with it. And you should too, on whatever else you think you want to get better at, whether it's a language. It doesn't matter. Because imagine if you learn a different language, you could be a translator. You could be making money extra just because you speak a different language. Think about it. The possibilities are endless. Change your mind and change your life. So with that said, if you need help, hit me up. Let's talk. You know where to find me on social media. I'll do my best to work with you in any way I can, or point you in the right directions with the right tools and resources that you need to make sure you get your financial future together. Get your financial future together. I can't say this enough. We're adults. We have no excuses. If you are married or single, I'll say this, if you're married and you cannot, first of all, you can't be married and have two people be responsible with money. I'm just saying that. If you're single, you might have an excuse, but at the same time, figure it out. I'm not judging. I'm not judging anyone. I'm just stressing the importance of the fact that we need to figure this out, and we have the support system out there. Do not be afraid to reach out to anyone. The people, first of all, people like us who are definitely into this personal finance space, we're obsessed with it. And we're more than willing to help people figure this stuff out, because we learn sometimes the hard way, or we learn by experiencing things, and we would like to share that knowledge with other people. So hope you find this useful. And I will talk to you guys next week. Thanksgiving starts tonight. I'm going to go chill. My nephews are here. Family's out here. We're going to go just chill and enjoy. So you guys enjoy your Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you guys. Stay blessed and enjoy, and stay safe. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.